Make room for Javi.
You know, this thing's been squeaking something awful fierce, so I'm just going to throw some lubricant on it, see if it makes it any easier. Welcome to my Project a Day video, where I explain a project or tell a story each day for a year, and I attempt to complete my shop. Seems to be a problem with one of the pulleys. I want to make sure that I straighten it out. Today I'll share the story of my buddy, Cory. First, a little history. I had a couple concessions over a decade and a half at Santa's Enchanted Forest. One of them was Photo Memories booth, where we took photos on a candy cane backdrop and placed them on a t-shirt for the customer. Weekends at Santa's were quite busy. School days were deserted most of the day and night. Santa's opened from Thursday before Halloween to the second week of January. If you exclude the weekends and the holidays and the Christmas vacation, you are left with approximately 50 slow days in the season. So many concessionaires really got to know each other in those days. Now, next to my Photo Memories booth was Jason, the caricature artist, and his crew. His crew consisted of many other caricature artists of whom I've got to know over the years. Most were trained in parks like Disney, Universal Studios, or Hershey Park in Pennsylvania. I never tired of their artistry as well as their sarcastic humor. Some of their customers, however, lacked the most basic sense of humor. One time, a girl sat down for a caricature in front of Jason, and this happened. Jason uncovers a new canvas, sits back in his chair and faces his customer, takes one look at her, gives a startled look, while at the same time neighing like a horse, and asks, "Why the long face?" On another occasion, another customer comes in and says, "Feel free to do your worst. I know I have a large forehead." To which Jason replies, "Forehead? That's a 5-head." In the world of caricatures, you should expect this kind of behavior if you have a sense of humor. Aside from an incredible sense of humor, there is one thing a caricature artist must have in order to do his job well, and that is self-confidence in his art, aside from, of course, being a good artist. I have only known one artist who failed miserably in that respect. His name was George. He was new to the job, but he would practice quite a bit. He would practice on me, as a face like mine is well suited for radio and caricatures. He drew one line, ripped out the sheet, and started over again. He was there for a good 30 minutes and threw out over 20 sheets in various forms of completion. I stole a few nearly completed ones from the trash and kept them without him seeing them. They weren't exceptional, but nowhere near the abysmal level he decided they were. He was let go after 3 days, not because of his talent, but his attitude. There were many great artists that I got to know and many caricatures drawn of me in the off time. Let me give a shout out to some of my friends and caricature artists who I've gotten to know very well. Rob L., Rob D., Tim R., Jimmy V., Crystal, Vince, Chris C., Gus, Jeff, and Jeff. And some particular friends who I've gotten to know very well. Tim, Cory, and Jared. Now, Tim has been a great long-distance friend, and we still chat from time to time, but as always happens in life, we drift apart. It's to be expected, as we only saw each other a couple of months a year to begin with. He met a wonderful girl, got married, and moved on with his life. Cory and Jared worked for Jason. Jason decided that Santa's was not worth the effort and dropped it from his circuit. Cory and Jared contacted me because they were interested in opening up their own business at Santa's Enchanted Forest. A deal was struck where I took them on and added the caricature stand to my official Santa concessions for a percentage of the gross. It was a fair deal, as I had the connections, vouched for them, fronted the fees and the insurance cost, and took on the liability. In the end, it was Cory and Jared's business, but I trusted them implicitly, and a few years later, when they were well established, they bought out my share. We all came to an equitable arrangement, and while it's often a bad idea to do business with friends or family, this time it worked out for the best for all. I had my sign business at the time, and I printed all the initial panels and their artwork for their booth. The artwork was strictly theirs. It was completely designed by them. They gave me all the files. I set up all the sign work. It was beautiful, and the caricature booth at Santa's took on a life of its own, and the business operated better than ever. Later, Jared took over the West Coast caricature stands and Cory the East. We still chat on occasion on Facebook, but like Tim, Cory's married, moved on to a better and more stable life than jumping from gig to gig. To be young and carefree again. Those were fantastic times. But I'm living my best life right here. All that just to fix a stupid cable. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment. I enjoy reading them, particularly when they're pleasant. Please subscribe, and as always, have a great day.
Make room for Javi.